Hi, welcome back to the series Reflections, Pathway Reflections. In this series, which is exclusive just to YouTube because I also did the New Monks podcast and recently started on the other side of psychoactive plant medicines, which are both available on all the podcast platforms, iTunes, Spotify, and the website as well. But this series is really just available on YouTube. And in this series, you will have seen some previous videos that I'm doing. And it's just really just a reflection of what is taking place in the world and my perspective on it, ultimately. Because I feel like, as we all know, these are very heightened discernment times where it's really important for us to really see things clearly. And also, it's confusing. The narrative is being skewed, propaganda is real, there's so many different stories going on, and it's hard. It can be really hard to know what is going on. And I see so many different narratives playing out, and so I'm just drawing on all of those and the alternatives to them as well. This is an alternative platform for alternative thinking. So this video, I just wanted to speak on the solar storms activity that happened last weekend and is continuing to happen. First of all, I would like to just point out that I know many people have been sharing and hearing perspectives that, this is manufactured. The Aurora Borealis, that was a beautiful, if you saw any of the photos, is amazing, incredible. I didn't, unfortunately get to see anything here where I am, but I saw pictures from South Africa, the UK, America, Australia, New Zealand. It looked, yeah, just wow. When you see it, it's just like wow. And so I know many people who are saying, this isn't real, it's fake, and I just wanted to share my perspective because I personally had a real experience with it. And so what I find interesting is that, when you can tune into how it's affecting you, then there's no doubting at all. And maybe there was some artificial things happening, which, if I really think about it, it was probably to try to stop the solar storm energy that is coming to the planet right now. But I experienced it, which was literally Friday night, early evening, Saturday, right? I had and the week before I had a big solar plexus healing, and then after that, which is also interesting, right? The solar plexus is related to the sun, solar energy, and I do really feel like there's just been a rain of solar codes coming onto the planet. Now, again, I just want to bring up because I speak a lot about the ascension because this is what we're going through, this 26,000 year cycle. And it's so funny because I feel like I see so many people debunking it. People are still on that flex of debunking, and listen, each to their own. But, there are different ways to communicate, and we can rise into them. But people saying all sorts of things still, like this is not an ascension, this is a descension. It's not about being up, it's about being in the body, and and ultimately, I think people don't understand what ascension really is. Like, it's not ascension, it's ascension. Like, well, actually, that's what ascension is. The ascension is happening in the body, and yeah, okay. In previous timelines, there might have been a case where the ascension did take place from up. Hang on one second. I'm just cooking, so I just needed to hand this food off one second. Yeah, just cooking a nice curry. So, basically, yeah, I just find it so funny. When people start conversations with, "Oh, it's not. Don't be fooled. Like, this isn't," and it's like basically, I feel really deeply that it's just continuing the cancel culture, a bit of shaming, a bit of nonsense. It's like the point is to escalate so that we aren't shaming, so that we can actually see more than one perspective and hold that. So there's just no need to communicate like that. And I know sometimes it might make sense, but I think most of the times I see people talking like that, it can be avoided, like 100%. And I think there's just a massive misunderstanding on language and words and terms and what they truly mean. Because I also feel like there's absolutely no need to say, the ascension isn't ascension, it's actually descension. Like, do you even understand what it means? Is the point. Because why would you even say that? The And I know why it is, because I think people are becoming ungrounded. They are bypassing spiritually, getting lost in lofty ideas, and then not really being able to be present in the body. But this whole path and this whole journey and process of healing is all about body work. It's all about healing, and it's all about embodiment. You cannot avoid that. That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose. So the whole concept of ascension, yeah, in some previous timelines, there might have been a case where it was just, you take your body somewhere, and then it's an external thing where you get taken to other dimensions and things, right? But and that's again another reason why people are saying, oh, it's not ascension, right? But it's still the same thing that's happening. And even back then, even if it was a case of externally and you have to go somewhere and then you will just travel through time or whatever, I feel like at the same time you still had to embody the things. It's still an embodiment process, because how can you travel through dimensions if your body isn't quite at the right evolved state? It's not at the right lightness, for example, because that's how it works. You can't some if you're not there yet, you're not going to be able to go through the portal in the first place. So anyway, for me, when I heard the word ascension, I always understood it as a journey that happens within. The ancient sages, all this philosophy, ancient mystics, the Sufis, the Indian philosophy, all of the Himalayan masters, all of the teachings are about going inwards. So when we speak of ascension, that's what we're talking about. There is no other thing. We don't need to go around changing words and cancelling things. That's what it is. Ultimately, that's it. So I just wanted to clarify that as well, because I feel like there's so much noise around it. And then because of it, and obviously I think it's from what other people see, but to be honest, I don't even see much spiritual bypassing in my community, and even just online, because I don't follow those people. you know that's as real as it is. And what's happening at the moment, people are boycotting celebrities who haven't been speaking out about this crazy injustice that's happening in the world. Fair play, that's the whole point. But boycott them, unfollow them. Why would you want that in your circle in the first place? I've been doing this for a long time, since 2020, to be honest. and that's not a case of cancelling, but it's just a case of refining your circle and also your content online. Because why, are you just following distractions, or are you actually following things that lift you up and rise you up and question you deeper and further? So a little bit of a tangent there, but basically the ascension is real and it's happening. And I see so many people go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, because they get really disheartened by other people who are speaking on the spiritual science in a way that is very ungrounded, and so then they don't want to speak about it, and then they deny it and act as if it's not happening, which I find so interesting. But it is happening, regardless of your thoughts and beliefs and shame around it. It's going on right now. And I do get it, because I know even on YouTube there's so many videos and so many people. But how, if you're not open to receiving and hearing it, then how are you going to know? Like how and at the same time, how are you going to participate? Because I feel like a lot of people have segregated themselves, but at the end of the day, we're going through this together. And there's been all this demonization of specific kind of spiritual modalities, or this new age canceling, and at the same time, I just think it doesn't matter. Receive the information, listen to who you want to, even if it might be from the freaking what do you call it, super hijacked. Obviously we have to heighten the discernment, and be careful of what the information we're receiving. And when I say that, all I mean is that you have to discern. There will be some people who are completely compromised. That's the word. some light beings, some beings who are being channeled through other human people. And in that case, you might get to a stage where you think, okay, I'm not listening to any of their content, which is fair enough, but we don't need to do that with everyone, you know? And there are going to be other people who actually are just delivering amazing content, and then, and it's in what people would call the new age. But the new age, I feel like it has been so demonized, but it's actually really helpful with what's happening currently, because it's constant, it's alive, it's real, it's in real time, and it's shifting and changing as everything changes now. A lot of the information that we've received, especially with regards to ascension, is old. So how do you want to rely on these old books and old teachings and words and classes when actually we're literally going through it now and it's happening now? So, you know, let's be present, let's be here. Listen to who you want to. If you don't resonate, then you don't have to take it on, you don't have to be annoyed, you don't have to, just let it go. That's literally the best way I see moving through this period of time. We don't need to isolate ourselves and think that, oh no, we're not allowed, because then again, it's another layer of fear, which doesn't need to be there either. And fear is the biggest one that, you know, I know so many of us moved through a lot of it since 2020, because we really stood up and said, no, I'm not getting this experimental concoction. So, but there's probably still more to be moved through, and I think it's really important to move through it. So just to clarify these things before speaking on the solar stones, because there's all this happening. But when we go back to the ascension that's happening, right? Basically, what is taking place is that the code right now, you know, the earth is changing, it's moving into its higher form, its higher self, it's moving into higher dimensions, and it's moving into the next harmonic universe. And I did a video on this, you can check it already, I'll put the link in the description. And it's basically on the 15th dimensional time matrix. Again, I don't hold tightly to these things, it's just a model to help you understand not just what I'm talking about, but anyone else. So the earth is moving, so we are connected to the earth, there's no disconnection. The earth and all these planets, you know, it's interconnected here. And as the earth is shifting, we are shifting too. So she is moving through this transformation, and so are we. There's no disconnection. And the sun, I always heard this from way back. The sun is, again, part of this. It's the sun behind our sun, you know, existing in another dimension. It is basically powering, giving us really powerful gamma rays of light coded energy and upgrades right now for us to receive and to assimilate. And the reception is not just in the body, like physically with the sun, obviously that is also really good, but the reception is it's everywhere, you know, it's in the ether, it's being received spontaneously at the same time. So just, you know, obviously we know the importance of the sun and the demonization of the sun, and, you know, the fact that the sun is really bad for us. But basically these solar flares are part of the sun's transformation as well. So the earth is changing, the sun is changing too. So the sun is going through its own transformation, and what we know the sun to be like is also changing. Yeah, there has been a case of people getting sick from the sun, you know, the skin cancer. Obviously, at this point, we know that it's all part of the dark agenda. That's all I can say. You can look into that yourself. But at the same time, what that means is that the sun, in its current state, but obviously it's going through a shift, is not in its organic form. And that's the state of so many things on this planet, which is so evidently clear. And so because of that, it's changing and it's going to transform. And again, I feel like this is also part of the hijack of the climate change and this doomsday agenda, when actually it's also a very natural organic process. The sun is changing. It's not a bad thing for us. And actually what we will find happen is that the sun is going to be giving much more lighter rays. The rays are going to feel different as it shifts. It's not going to feel the same as it did. and it's not going to give us cancer because it's not supposed to be giving us cancer, you know. And for me, from a very young age, I've always loved the sun and the feel of sun on my skin. And you know, I'm from a hot country. My granddad also, he was one of those ones. He would just every day when he moved to England, he would make sure that he would have a moment to tan in the sun. Like it was something that it was really important to him, and he knew it was solar energy that you were receiving, you know. And so basically, the sun, yeah, I always used to love it, and I think not everyone feels that as well, you know. Some people, they get agitated in the heat. I My body is quite obviously I'm from a hot country, but it's quite adaptable to hot weather. I can handle it. I don't get and cold weather is the opposite, you know. But anyway, so the sun, this is it, the sun changes. So the point is that the sun is delivering codes to us, and then the more open and receptive we are to them. And again, there's going to be here like, oh yeah, but this is part of the dark agenda, and like, you know, you can't just open yourself to anything. You know, of course, but you know, that's up to the individual to decide. And you know, the sun is the freaking sun. Like it is, you know, it's coming from the most high. You know what I mean? It's the sun. And from what I know, other than what I have just explained here, it hasn't been manipulated um, in a way that the moon has, for example. But it has in the way where we shouldn't be getting this cancer and stuff, you know. But it's changing. Basically, just drop the camera. Oopsie. So anyway, the sun is changing, and what is taking place right now is the codes are here. Now, the ascension, it's not just, again, this is where the interconnection is. It's not just a case of us on our own healing on this journey, and then, you know, we're just going to ascend. You know, what's happening is that the earth, the plants, you know, the food, the fruits, everything's working as one. The sun is giving us information, and we can basically receive it, and then it's going to help us to purge on this healing journey, and to release trauma, to release to release blockages, and to release so many things, that we've been holding on to. Now we are going to new earth. Okay, I won't get into that in this video, but ultimately we are here to create the new prophecy, the new way of being, and the new ways of living. We're moving away from this old matrix, which is exposing itself so evidently and crumbling. And so we are pioneering that. Right now, those people who are resonating, we are ahead of the game. We are the first to plant our flags and to carve the path. And so basically, we are the ones that are going to be most affected. I was very affected by the solar flares in the most amazing way. And here again, I find it really interesting because people always say, oh, it's ascension symptoms, and there's such a controversy about what that means and what that is. But it's different for everyone, I would say. And I know that some people say, oh, it's not painful, it's not supposed to be painful, but it can be, because you might be harboring some dense energy and some pain, and sometimes that might be painful when you have to release it. You know, it's going to be painful when you let go of that, when because you have to feel it in order to move through it. So that's just how it is. And obviously that's also different perspectives. Some people might be like, oh, wasn't that bad? And some people might be like, sure, that was intense, right? So anyway, the sun's energy is very, very helpful for us at this time. It's important for us to go out and receive and to feel the sun, and also just mentally be receptive and open to it. So what has happened this past weekend, there's been a lot going on, and it's been high emotionally, I would say, but big wounds and big shadows and big parts of yourself that are hidden and negative, they are being exposed right now. And obviously, the only reason it's being exposed is for you to finally overcome it. And I feel like there's an opportunity right now for people to really ground, really integrate those shadows in the most powerful way right now. And this is what I'm saying: the sun is here to help us to do that, to help us to see it. Some things might have exploded in ways that were really unexpected, may not have been very comfortable, but then within that, there's the medicine we can see, and then we can move forwards. Now we can continue to play the games and the drama and keep playing it over and over in the same way, or we can say, okay, I get it. I finally get it, and I want to change, and I'm here, and I'm ready. I'm ready for this upgrade, and it's a massive upgrade that's happening at the moment. It's just from what I see in my personal experience as well, and from other people around me. There's a lot of friction happening in friendships because a lot of friendships are going to fall apart, but not always. Sometimes it might just be a clearer understanding, and so that we can move again, let go of the baggage, and move into more lightness. A lot of people, the symptoms are very different. You can get flu-like symptoms. You can feel dizzy. There's a lot of purging energetically, and there's all sorts of different things. I actually had diarrhea, but it wasn't the same as usual. It wasn't painful at all, which is very interesting. It just felt like a massive cleanse, big cleanse. So I started the celery juice that a medical medium always talks about, because he had profound healing when he had food poisoning. And he just celery juice for, I can't remember how long, but for quite a while, because he was really sick. And so it's been really, really helping. And then since then, I've just been feeling this absolute calm, lightness, and just very warmth, just like, and there's so much happening. I think another focus and another point is abundance, because so many of us have not been in that place of abundance, because we have so much to learn to clear the path and to clear within ourselves in order to be in that state of receiving. So I feel like there's that too. And what else have I noticed with the solar flares? Yeah, there's a lot of community coming together, a lot of healing in groups, healing in community, a lot of vulnerability, and exposing ourselves in beautiful ways, and support from each other. And I feel like it's actually an amazing time. And the other thing is that the sun, it's going to take time to process it, and it won't be immediate, and it's not just now. It's obviously the solar flares are continuing. Also, I did a video about Noah, the days of Noah, and in the Bible, I'm again not Christian, not about that, just picking and choosing information that resonates. So there was one specific thing that was speaking on, like Jeremiah said in the previous podcast, removing the dogma from the from Christianity. And so what is it? It basically, back then there was a flood. Everyone knows about the flood, but this time round, which is happening now, it's not going to be flood. It's going to be fire. The fire energy is the sun. It's fire. So that's what's up. That's what's happening right now. And so the other thing is, us being the pioneers and at the forefront of this shift, we are now going to be opening ourselves up to our memories, and our memories from past lifetimes, and ultimately that's going to reveal to us our purpose in a really, really profound way of why we are here, not just this one physical body, but in a much wider sense of the word, which I just cannot wait. And I'm looking forward to that, and I know it's coming, and that's going to unravel over the next 3 years, basically. So it is potent what we are going through right now. light codes from the sun will have to be assimilated through our body. We can help ourselves by this process. Again, I'm going to do another video on diet because I think it's so confused. People don't get it. And I feel like I have an understanding that's very clear, but it might not resonate with everyone. People are still going to argue with it, and that's fine. But when you're on this ascension, it's important that you are feeding yourself the right foods. That's all I can say. When you are eating intuitively, you will know what your body needs. So you just have to tune in and listen to yourself. But ultimately, we're moving away from the processed crap, moving away from processed sugar, moving away from the food that's not real food, the fake meat, and all that stuff. Like, all of that stuff is not real. It's not helpful. Moving away from the GMO, all of this, we're going back to organic. And the fruits with the highest vibration of fruit, the foods with the highest vibration of fruits, that is the food that's going to help and support our bodies to detox, to purge, to go through all of this crazy metamorphosis that we're going through right now. Fruits, because the fruits, well, again, they have the energy from the sun. It's structured water that is in the fruits. There's so much to this, but and that is what our body requires. And so fruits, coconut water as well, obviously the electrolytes there, and also coconut water is just very high vibrational. And then the other things that can help, this the usual grounding practices, Epsom salt, salt in the water, lemon in your normal water, especially if you can't have coconut water, and and grounding the sea, the water, the waters that you can swim in, and also just putting your feet on the ground, just receiving the energy from the earth. And meditation, obviously, if you have practices that really help you to stay centered. I guess some people probably might be knocked up a bit, but if you have a really stable connection with source and with a discipline like meditation, then I don't think it will affect you in that way. And if you haven't, then keep doing it until you get it, until it's grounded in solidly. That's going to help you. So I think that's it. Information about these solar storms. It's been amazing to see the aurora again. Another part of that is, seeing the antimatter move into matter. Those little lights that were just shining there, and that's also the process that's what we're doing right now, encoding it and anchoring it into this third dimension. So open yourself up to receive it. That's all I can say. If you don't want to, if this doesn't resonate, fine, but just receive, because it's basically assistance with your healing at the moment. It's assistance with your path. It's assistance with like the dense energies that you've been trying to move for the longest time. The sun is helping. So gratitude for the sun. Thank you so much for supporting us, and not just us, but the whole planet, all beings on this planet, for the evolution in consciousness, and for this amazing journey. May it support us for the highest good of all. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it has helped. Please like and support this channel. We are here basically to create tools for this awakening. And if you are interested, I developed an online course called Awakening 101, which is basically just me sharing what I learned through my journey the past decade, and how to create a solid foundation in this path when there's so much going on and so much information and so much contradicting itself. So thank you, and see you in the next video.